Okay, in this screencast we will talk about creating progress plan surfaces. So we will have pit surfaces by the end of each year of our scheduling. First of all, what do we need to be able to create pit surfaces? The first thing that we need is the topographic grid surface. I have some. It takes a little bit of time to load. I will make the visual overrides so we can see that the surface is not a flat one. So this is the area where we are going to perform our mining. Our pit is located somewhere in the middle. Of course, the other thing that we need is our model of the pit. The model of the pit lies in design file blocks. I will try to visualize all the blocks that are related to this model. Again, it takes some time. Okay, blocks are loaded, and we can see that we have started performing some mining activities in this area. Oops. So we have extracted a certain part. But before we can do that, we need to make sure that we have surfaces for every bench. In our case, benches are not flat, they are inclined. So we need to have surface for every bench. Let's go to surfaces. And I have surfaces for all the benches starting from elevation 785 up to elevation 1175. How did I create these surfaces? I have created a grid for every bench. So for every bench I have created a grid. How can I do that? Go to Model, Grids, Design. Then we say that our data design file is, I have selected the benches design file. To be safe, I just copied all these layers from the blocks design file. I copied them to the benches design file just to be safe. So now I can select the benches design file as a source one. I can select one of the layers, well, in this case the lowest one, as the search layers. So I will take all the elements, all the blocks of this layer, and I will create a grid based on it. So the grid will represent the surface of my bench. For grid file, I have created the grid file called benches. So type the name, grid distance unit meters. For the values at each node, I have selected all I've decided to do 3 extra benches, which does not exist at the current moment, just again to be on the safe side. And also I have used the grid spec pit. How it was created, I will tell you a little bit later. So when I click OK, the grid file is created, but it's an empty grid. Now we need to do the following. We need to say that for this grid file, for the value, I select the first value. When I select it, the surface is automatically populated, and the value unit category should also be populated. It should be depth. The unit should be meters. I'm not using the main polygons. In controls, I'm creating a new object using the interpolator FEM. I have found out that's the most suitable interpolator for my purpose, and I'm using the grid spec pit. Of course, you don't have a grid spec, so we will try now to create it. So as far as I have already created it, I would not use new, which you need to press to create a new one, but I will press view. So the grid spec is I will need an extra layer to be displayed. It sits in the file for PP surfaces and the layer boundaries. So I simply have created a polygon which outlines my pit area, because I don't want to create grids outside the pit area. I just want to create grids inside of this area. So what I do, I click the pick element and I click on this element, and after it selects and populates my values for the grid. I need to change the cell size to 10 meters, so I type in 10 meters, and after I do that, it recalculates the number of rows and number of columns. Don't forget to put the name over here, and then you click OK. So now you have the grid specification. After you have completed everything, you click Apply, and your first grid for the bench 0785 is created. You need to repeat this exercise for all the other grids. So you select to 800, apply, and changes to here to 800, changes here, everything else is left unchanged, and you hit apply again for the rest benches here, excluding maybe the ones that are above 1175. Those last 3 I did as reserve ones. So after you complete it for all the benches, your grids would look as follows. I will close this window, detach the design file graphics that I have, that will be easier. And let's have a look at the grids. I'm not going to display all of them. I will take the upper one, just click on it, wait a little bit while it's trying to load the graphics. Okay, and again, using the visual overrides, I can make it some kind of a landscape. So you see that over here the whole thing is flat, but in the area where I have data, over here I have it interpolated. I actually won't need all this area. I will need just this part of the grid. And the same is for the rest of the grids here. As I was saying before, when you create your grids, you automatically create the surfaces. So we have all these surfaces listed here. So this is one prerequisite for creating the surfaces of progress plan. About the next one I will talk in the next screencast.